Hi everyone, welcome. It's Lavender Sky Panther. It's April 10th, 2023, a Monday where I'm at. It's actually already skipping over to April 11th. Anyway, this is show number 188. It's pretty big. Literally, what you're going to see here is huge. Yet another discovery. It seems like the revelations keep pouring in by the second. As far as what I personally am seeing each day, what's being shown to me in a synchronistic way. Divine hand is in there for sure. And also what I notice other Earth and Sky Watching channels, finding as well. Seems like everything's ramping up. Somebody did say, I forget what channel, but they said, yes, this is going to be the year of revelations. A lot of things being revealed. And so far, that is definitely holding up to be true. So all that said, this is called Look Up, Biggest Hole Ever. And the reason why it's entitled that is I made a discovery, quote unquote, accidentally walking through a room looking at a TV, and a bunch of people were watching a replay, a recorded portion of the Masters golf tournament in Augusta, Georgia, which happened this particular one still I'm going to feature today on the show. It's a still from a video which happened on Easter here in the U.S. on April 9th, 2023. So this is from April 9th, yesterday. And, just recording this and launching this on the 10th, skipping into the 11th. So, yes, this is the final round of the Masters Tournament, Golf Tournament 2023. Again, I was just kind of strolling through the room and noticed, oh my God, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? So this is already an enhanced version. And just pay attention to this, obvious thing in the very middle. This golfer, I don't even know which one he is. He's, obviously setting up to tee off to get to the green and get to a hole, but I don't think he realizes there's a much larger hole up here. I'm also going to cross-reference my show number 186. I'm going to include one slide. Do check that one out as well, because I'm seeing this huge thing too, just in my neighborhood from the street. So this thing, it's here, man. It's huge, as I entitled my show number 186. And, all ready for people who wanted to see this on mainstream TV. Here you go, friends. It's on mainstream TV. No need to look at any FAA camps way up in the north in Alaska or, in remote areas. This is freaking now in our face on mainstream TV, whether they realized it or not. We're also going to be looking, if you follow my cursor, at this object. It's like a cylinder or a canister, huge one. And this, too, is like the end of a pipe or a jet. So what I think happened was these two things were responsible for pumping out a heck of a lot of particulate in the air to cover this thing better. And they had a temporary breakdown or suspension in their supply. I don't know what happened, but it allowed us to see this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the whole show right now. It's only a handful of slides, maybe 14 slides. I'm going to just, move through them very quickly so you can see the progression of this thing. We're going to start off here with this is what I saw. I'm walking by the TV. I saw this. Now, it was a rather large TV, I think about 80-inch screen. And I'm looking actually from another room even, and I'm like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Is this so obvious? And as I walk by, I'm like, holy crap, it is obvious. So I asked the people to put the video, rewind and put on hold so I could just take a picture of this. And I didn't tell them why, because they wouldn't be on board at all. But I just said, oh, yeah, it'll make a great, like, a screensaver or something. So I took a picture. I turned off all the light sources. I said, you people mind if I just turn off the lights so I can get a good picture of this? So this is how it appeared. Now, the people in the room, they didn't think anything of it. They just said, oh, yeah, there's something on the lens. And I'm laughing to myself, because if you know what we're looking at, and do look in the description box below if you're not familiar and don't get the joke right now of what we're looking at. It is there are many names for what this could be, but it's absolutely a huge planetary body entering our system, our neighborhood, so to speak, to the Earth, nearing the Earth. The Hopi prophecy calls it this could be the red Kachina of the Hopi prophecy. Some people call it Wormwood Star. Some have other names that won't be quite appropriate, but it's just trying to identify this huge planet that we would start to see at times like this during a big shift going on in the planet. Some might call it Planet X, Nibiru, Nemesis. There are all kinds of names. But again, they might be slightly misnomers, not the quite right names for the object. I'm just going to call it, I do think it's Wormwood Star is the correct name for it. But there's a bunch of planetary bodies supposedly coming in by prophecies, and this is just one of them. So when we get to letter C over here, I think we might be seeing part of another one. But anyway, for right now, let's just focus on the A and B. So the A is going to be the object, the main planetary body. I also say, or a moon, I don't know. This is the planetary body or some kind of moon. I do believe it's a natural body, but who knows? It could be artificial, a la, Star Wars A New Hope, when they say that's no moon, it's a space station. It could be absolutely something like that. Or if you want to get more modern with the movies, I refer to it in show number 186 about the movie Moonfall. They kept pushing hard the concept of a megastructure. And anyway, this absolutely could be artificial. Something moving in. I do believe the moon is artificial, actually. Anyhow, B is going to be looking at those canister pipe things that I think kind of broke down and missed the mark, because this is very clear. Now, true, if you don't have the eyes to see yet or the ears to hear quite yet, you're going to think, oh, that just must be. What else could it be but a lens flare? But again, we're going to look at it in more detail and prove that it is, in fact, the planetary body coming in. All right, so anyway, 4, let's tee off and see what we've got. So I'm going to start progress them. I do the enhancements, and actually I got to take a step back. First of all, welcome back, everyone. If you're familiar with what do I do here, and a big hearty and heartfelt thanks to you, and a big warm welcome to anyone who's new. If you are new, do look at my previous shows to get the gist of what I'm about, what I'm doing here. Also, just know that I take an original photo or still from video footage, such as here, and then I'm going to do enhancements or an enhancement progression, which simply means I take the existing photo and I up or lower the levels, attributes of the photo, levels such as brightness, contrast, color saturation, things like that. Maybe sharpness and warmth a tiny bit, and that's all I do. I do it by hand. I do it incrementally and manually. I don't use preset filters. So that's what I do. And by doing that, I draw out and can better highlight what's going on in our skies that are insanely veiled with a ton of particulate, where we don't have our true blue skies like we did in decades past. We don't have typical clouds that are artificial looking, because, we have every reason to believe that it's artificial material being pumped out into the sky. Sometimes it's very obvious in the form of chemical-filled trails that are not contrails, not condensation trails. That's a totally different thing. I go in detail of what's what in other shows. But anyway, let's get into this, because it's pretty fascinating. Again, I am totally shocked. I'm pleasantly surprised and happily shocked to see that this is just on a mainstream TV channel, and that, again, we have evidence on the mainstream TV during an actual tournament, which is documented. And this isn't just something that we have to wait for. Look at obscure cameras all around the world. We've got it. Plain as day, literally. So here we go with the progression. I'm going to just move through all the slides fairly quickly so you can see the progression. Keep your eye focused here between A and B. And then I'll go back up and come through them a little bit more slowly and break them down a little bit. But this one's a pretty bit much a one-liner. It's pretty clear what's going on here. But we'll get into it a little bit, and I hope you enjoy. So here we go. I'm going to do the progression. Okay. So I throw one slide in of show 186 to do a comparison of what we're looking at. So here we go back to the original slide. This thing, is pretty darn big when you look at it. There's no way that's going to be a lens flare anyway, because it's enormous. And there's no direct sun source, so we don't have, a lens flare like a really bright, it would be a bright point of light or bright source in combination with this, and we don't have it anywhere. So here we go. We're going to go down up with the progression a little bit. You can kind of see it's got a little bit of a reddish hue to it. And then now we start to see shadow, as I move through the progressions here, more and more enhancement. We see a shadow line back here. We start to make out these holes, very interesting holes, like 1, 2, like 3 really big ones. Now we come over here and we're starting to make out little things on the sides. Here we go is where we first start to see what's going on at B.4. There's some type of machinery or tech here. Again, I think this is what pumps out a lot of the artificial foggy cloud veiled particulate stuff, but it could also just be a cloaking craft hanging out there in that vicinity, or both. It's just a craft sitting there that does these things. I think we have another one up here at 8.4, and it does look like to me that there might be another round object being totally veiled by particulate over here at Z.4, very possible. Or if not that, then there's some other craft there nearby. But let's keep going. Okay, we're getting a little more contrast placed on this a little bit more so we can see what's going on. There's a definite bigger hole right here. We start to see the end of a pipe popping up more at B.5. we start to see something moving across horizontal here, which wouldn't be happening if everything is kind of static in the scene. A cloud wouldn't be doing that unless there was some motion, some object connected to it. This actually looks like a capsule. The more that I'm looking at it, it looks like an ellipse. So this could be a separate craft, cloaking craft, or it could be instrumentation that's strictly designed to pump out, the veiling particulate. And again, I think there was a miscommunication or a breakdown, or they ran out of their supply, or they just temporarily stopped to give us this moment in time to see this, full planetary body without being veiled. Because, okay, so now 186 is my show, a couple shows back, where I was just completely, I usually don't use the term, but I can't really think of a better one right now. Not awestruck, really, it was like and I don't like the term flabbergasted, but I think I used it last time. Gobsmacked, awe-filled, awestruck, whatever you want to say. Look at this. I mean, this is that planetary body. So it turns out that this looks like the same exact one now that we're seeing in the Augusta, Georgia from the golf tournament yesterday. Now, this is from March 31st in Miami, Florida, looking northeast at 7 p.m. And this one looks like it's a little bit closer comparatively when you look at the Augusta footage, but it's in the ballpark to be the same object. And up here at the top, there's this huge crater-like thing. We know from other channels documenting this thing that it does rotate, and it rotates rather quickly. So I think it's like within 5 hours there might be a full rotation. At least that's some of the planetary bodies coming in. If you look at another YouTube channel called The Final Days, I'm sending you over there for the actual content and explanation, the technical explanation of what's going on with these bodies coming into our vicinity. Not for the religious views. I don't push that, or even my own spiritual stuff on anyone. It's up to you if you want to, grab any gems from it or not, whatever people present. If you love it, great. If not, that's not why I'm sending you over there. But she does a great job at explaining and breaking things down technically of how things are working to further conceal and veil these things with other technology, projectors and other things, not just the particulate in the sky. So I highly recommend you go check that out if you haven't seen anything regarding this of what I'm documenting. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that would be a good little primer to go check it out and get some little knowledge ahead of time, and then maybe come back and watch what I'm presenting. She even catches the rotation and all of that, so that's why I highly recommend you go over there. This is just saying, hey, wow, what other people have been talking about have been coming into our neighborhood, or Earth's neighborhood. Dang it, it's here, man, it's here. So, and as I said before, no reason to fear. I'm just documenting this and sharing it. And like I said, even on 186, that was the first time I asked anybody to share this far and wide, especially amongst the sky and earth watching community, to anyone who gets it. Because this is literally big. I mean, I'm just standing on the street looking up, and this is how huge it is. It's so close. Now, what I want to get back to is no fear here, never on this channel, absolutely not. And not with this. So I don't believe, excuse me, we've been given the correct picture, full story about any other bodies entering in, that they're going to cause havoc and tidal waves and end of the world. No. Obviously, if this thing is this close and is doing nothing of the kind, for the whole city, the whole state, the whole seaboard. So, we can throw that out the window. Plus, if we don't understand exactly what that is, it might be a technological construct. So that means there would be nothing in there to cause gravity or any kind of changes, on the Earth's surface. So, we don't want to run and jump to any conclusions. We're still here. There's nothing crazy and anomalous with our weather other than a little bit of strange stormy activity tonight that we usually don't get, but which could be very well engineered to hide the tracks of such a thing so close in the atmosphere. But who knows? All I want to say is there's no catastrophe here right now, and this thing is this close. All right, so do look at my other show too for other thoughts on that. But let's get back to Augusta, Georgia. So I just threw this in there to show that it looks like we have the crater, and I think this, if you look at the placement of the crater of what I'm seeing back on March 31st, I think that's the hole, that we just saw, except, for my view, it was just on the top here, and I think the related little cutout, was kind of off to the side. So anyway, regardless, this is how big this thing is in the sky. And it even looks like we have two little sticks here, symmetrical, coming off of this thing. It's really, really bizarre. That would lend further support to that it's not a natural planetary body, but a constructed one. Anyway, over here we start to get a little more development on B.6, that we're dealing with an object over here. And the more I look at it, it seems to have a similar character and size, this one to this over here. So I really am more and more leaning that these are technology responsible for, pumping out all this particulate in a major, major way, much to a greater capacity than just little planes or orbs could be coming back and forth, crisscrossing, making, the veiling. So I think these dump out a lot more at much higher volume. And I'm not saying that it's toxic. I think this very well could just be what I've been calling camouflage trails or camouflage material, cloaking material. It could just be, simple kind of like fog type stuff without the toxic component. Hard to know, but that's what I just think might be happening with these in this particular case. All right, so we're going to zoom in a little bit on this thing now. These lines, these striations you see are just the effect of the TV itself. It was a pretty clear picture, but just by the time you combine my camera phone with that TV, it was causing this a little bit. So just know that these lines are just the effect of my technology, kind of integrating with the TV's technology to take this picture. So here, though, we start to see sharp lines with shadow to them, and here too, definite shadow. So this is some kind of object sitting there. It looks like it's leaving a little vapor trail as it flies over here as well. And again, I still see an ellipse here, so another object there. Again, I think those are just things that fly around because we have a vapor trail coming off it from the right here, one coming off from the left here showing movement. So I think, this thing is just very slowly moving and rotating in place. Again, other channels have been tracking it and documenting it much better than here. I'm just excited to show you that I caught this thing on TV without much effort, just happening to walk through the room and seeing it. Okay, so here's a little bit more. I'm going to push the contrast and the sharpness and some of the color saturation a bit to exaggerate the scene. And in this case, then the B.7a, it really helps us to see, yes, there's something floating right there. Maybe a little bit here, back up here as well. And then look at our object. Clearly we've got big pronounced holes with like a line connecting these things. What the heck is going on with this thing? But we have a line here showing shadow, so that's implying a sphere and not just a 2D circle, so not a hologram. We have a crater over here too. We start to see little things more pronounced now. So, as I say always in some other shows, I'm just pointing out some things, not all of them. The more you look at any of these photos, the more you're going to find, guaranteed. There's stuff all over the place. I even start to see an object here. But we're going to move along. And one more time, it's a little fuzzy, but I just wanted to try to cancel out the sharp lines from the TV effect, but it didn't really help too much. But we do see, again, object here for sure. And then look at this thing. We get the red signature popping up in this area. So this is fascinating, very intriguing. We get some weird cutout back here. So it's got a sharp, corner, almost a right angle as it comes down to a curve. So there might also be an object, behind this thing. But see what you see what you think about all of this. I could swear I see the end of a pipe, a very clear end of a pipe right here too, on at the end of like a stick-like element. Like I said, keep looking through this. Do your own further enhancements on it if you wish. Take screenshots, do whatever you want to do. But just know that this is pretty big. So I don't know if I finished my thought earlier, but do share this far and wide. I never usually ask that of my, anybody watching my channel, but this time I am. Please share and get it out there. Of course, I never like to say the like, share, subscribe bit because I never want to program anybody. Have that in your mind. It's done enough on all the other channels. But obviously, any which way you feel guided, either to leave a comment or hit the like or share this, would be truly appreciated in this case, because we've really got to get the word out. And the more of us talk about this and share, even amongst ourselves, hopefully that energy can build and slowly, if it's our intent to get this out and show with others and share and discuss in an intelligent way, hopefully that then rubs off and others maybe are attracted to seeing what we're seeing, even if they're not ready to quite believe it yet. Maybe it's just a baby step to get people interested, right? So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. We're going to do the photo of the day and the close of the show, and then I will run back through the progression one more time rather quickly if you want to see it again now that you've got a little more to work with about what it's all about. So I just want to say thanks for landing here a while in my channel and this particular show. This is just a practice golf ball in my yard. It's a plastic wiffle golf ball in St. Augustine grass in Miami, Florida. Okay, so I'm going to old school way go back all the way up to the top because I can't just jump to the top slide. So here we go. That's our cover slide. I just chose this particular enhancement so that you can see the machinery up here, and then the planetary body, whatever it is, natural or not. You be the judge on that one. And again, more and more is being revealed each day, so I'm sure we're going to get more answers rather quickly coming up. So here we go. I'm going to get ready for this little progression run, and let's do it. Okay. Well, that's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed it, and as always, I wish you all the best. Tremendous peace and love to you. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.